This comparison video is brought to you by sellcashier.com. Sellcashier compares iPhone prices online and gives you a quick quote to get you the most cash for your iPhone. It's simple, fast, and secure. Check the description for more information. Hey folks, how's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing my top 10 reasons of why I think the iPhone 6s Plus is a better smartphone than the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 that I have over here. Now, basically, the rationale behind all the reasons why I think this is better than this specifically pertains to the advantages that the iPhone 6s Plus has inherently over the Note 5. So that might be a specific unique feature that the 6 Plus has over the Note 5, or it could be an attribute or feature of the phone that makes it a more usable everyday phone compared to the Note 5. So if you're interested in understanding why this thing might be better than this thing, stay tuned and let's find out. Now, the cool thing about the new iPhone 6s Plus is that it's made out of 7000 series aluminum, so it's a lot less bendable, much more rigid chassis than we saw on the original iPhone 6 Plus. The Note 5's construction is also aluminum in terms of its frame architecture, but it's covered in Gorilla Glass 4 at the front and back of the device, which is great in terms of scratch resistance. But as you can see over here, it's definitely more of a fingerprint magnet than the iPhone. Plus, if the Note 5 falls from a great distance, you are going to potentially crack that rear portion, versus you probably won't have some of those durability concerns with the new iPhone. Now, internally, both phones have plenty of power to do everything that you need to do, but with the new Apple A9 architecture, the dual-core processor is faster in terms of single-threaded applications. As you can see, it gets a much higher score on the Geekbench on the single-core mark compared to the Note 5. So that means applications that utilizes more single-core processing are potentially going to run faster on the iPhone 6s Plus compared to the Note. Now, the big new feature on the new iPhone 6s and 6s Plus is the new 3D touch technology. So the display has sensors that can detect the amount of force that you're putting onto the screen. So with this feature, you have the ability to perform a greater variety of touch commands, whether that be peeking into an email to get a preview onto it, or getting quick access to common commands in certain applications on iOS 9. Currently, right now, the iPhone is exclusive with 3D touch technology, so hopefully developers will get onto it and make some innovative applications to utilize that extra dimension of touch. And 3D touch is certainly a unique feature exclusive to the iPhones that the Note 5 does not have right now. Now, just for sheer bragging rights, the Note 5 is slightly thicker than the iPhone 6s Plus, measuring about 7.6 millimeters, versus the 6s Plus measures an impressively thin 7.3 millimeters. So for those of you guys that want the thinner phablet phone, looks like the iPhone has that for you. Now, another advantage on the 6s Plus is the fact that it comes in a 128 gigabyte version. Unfortunately, the Note 5 in most parts of the world comes in either 32 or 64 gigabyte versions, and this year you do not have any expandable memory. So if you want the bigger internal memory capacity, looks like the iPhone has that over the Note 5 at this point. Moving forward, the 6s Plus is a more renowned world phone, so it has a couple of more LTE bands that it can support at different speeds than the Note 5. The Note 5 will work in most places, but it looks like at this point, if you do want more compatibility options in terms of all the LTE speeds and the networks that are around the world, the iPhone 6s Plus probably has you covered on a more broader basis than the Note 5. Now, the cameras on both phones are quite fantastic. Check out our dedicated camera comparison video if you haven't already. But one thing I have to mention is that we have a 12 megapixel sensor on the iPhone 6s Plus, and it's about the same size as what we expect to see on the Note 5. So that means the photo sites have more access to more photons, and as a result, I generally came across a better low light performance, especially when it comes to getting more accurate color representation, a little bit more information in the shadow areas, as well as less overall noise, especially when it comes to the rear facing cameras, both for photos and videos. So if you do a little bit more nighttime or low light photography, based on my experience, I think the iPhone 6s Plus has the better camera for that. Another advantage that the 6s Plus still carries over from the previous generation iPhones is that glorious 240 frames per second slow motion mode in 720p. That's about twice as slow as what we expect to see on the Note 5. So if you do want the best slow motion possible on a smartphone, the iPhone is still the winner here. Now, the Super AMOLED display display that we have on the Note 5 is fantastic in terms of its clarity, resolution, and color rendition. But one thing that the iPhone has over the Note 5 is a brightness, especially when you're directly under harsh sunlight. Because it's an LED IPS display, I generally found myself to look at the iPhone and found less color shifts at extreme angles during those extreme direct to sunlight conditions. And of course, it's slightly brighter compared to the organic LED display that we have on the Note 5. The Note 5 is perfectly legible, but in real life you will notice that the iPhone is brighter in those extreme sunlit conditions. And last but not least, I've been testing out both of these two phones for quite some time now, and based on my battery tests, both the critical analysis and the real world test, I found myself getting a couple of more hours on a day-to-day usage on the iPhone 6s Plus compared to my Note 5. The Note 5 is certainly not bad, and of course, battery life depends upon your user behaviors and things like that, but based on my personal habits, I found myself getting maybe an hour or two extra on the iPhone 6s Plus compared to the Note 5, which is really darn interesting because it actually has a smaller battery. That might be due to the fact that the hardware and software optimization is a little bit better on the iPhone. Additionally, it does have that full HD display compared to the Quad HD display, which sometimes can take a little bit more juice out of your battery. But really, other than that, guys, that's really it. I know some of you guys out there that might not agree with any of the points that I've mentioned, but keep in mind this is just a little defensive video on why somebody would pick iPhone 6s Plus over a Note 5. We actually have a counter argument for why the Note 5 is better than the iPhone, so definitely check out the channel for more videos like this, and we'll leave off with one last word from our sponsors that made this video possible. Now, just one last thing, guys. I get a lot of people asking me on what they should do with their older smartphones. Should they put it on eBay, Craigslist? But to avoid all that hassle, there's actually a really cool service called Sell Cashier. And if you go to sellcashier.com, these guys will actually buy your existing iPhone from all the major US carriers. They currently operate in the United States, but it's really simple to get a quote. You just select what carrier you're using, the specific model of your iPhone, and the overall condition. They'll even send you a free prepaid label and a box for free, which is quite fantastic and much better than selling it on eBay or meeting a stranger in a dark alley through Craigslist. And lastly, Sell Cashier prides themselves on giving you the absolute most for your iPhone. Compared to many of the other services that buy your iPhone, you're pretty much guaranteed that Sell Cashier will give you the best deal for your existing iPhone. So definitely go check them out. I think they definitely provide a useful and hassle-free service that you'll be pretty happy with.